I'm sorry, Jim. Uh, well, now that I went on a big long rant, I didn't know I wasn't live. I guess I got to start all over again. Welcome to Landscapes America Live, where I'm going to try to help you with your business and life. Well, I don't know about the life part, but anyway, I thought I was live this whole time. I'm gonna try and not look at the chats when I do my lives. I'm gonna try to go live more often, and I actually set it up in both trucks so that way people can actually watch me as I'm working. And I thought I was live this whole time. I went on a big giant long rant. Whew, now I gotta start all over again. What's up, Willie, Mike, Matt, Jim? Jim, thanks for calling me. All right, I guess I gotta start all over now. All right, so I came across a video. The title of this live is called "Does it pay to rent a machine for a job?" I'm going to start with the commercial part because that's really more my thing, and then I'll get to the residential part. Actually, you know what? No, let me get to the residential part. I saw a video of Ray Ray, and listen, if you're going to get offended by what I have to say, and if you don't have the balls, at least come up to me and say, "Hey, bro, I think you're wrong." Then listen, that's on you. You know what I mean? I think we're grown adults here. We should be able to say, "Listen, this is how I'm doing my business." You know, we should be able to communicate. If you can't figure out how to communicate, then and you want to, do your shit, then be a coward. Then that's on you. You know what I mean? I'm a big boy. I got big shoulders. So anyway, went on a big long rant. Let me get back to what I was saying. Part of the reason I'm doing my channel is because I'm tired of the BS on YouTube. I'm just not happy. I mean, think about it. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, owned by the largest search engine in the world. You know, a lot of these guys come to YouTube for answers, right? So I'm going to try to show. I'm slow down a little bit. I'm going to try to show the solo guy part, and I'm going to try to show how to take your lawn care contracting business from one guy to five guys, from zero to generating seven figures. And when I say seven figures, I don't want to go on like a side note. Basically, you just need 12 commercial accounts. And I'll show you the contracts in another video. But what I am going to show you tonight is actually real contracts, a real business that we won. Because I want to talk more about tonight, not about the contracts and everything else, but more about, does it pay to rent? So let's talk about the commercial part first. So basically, like with us with the plowing, right? Certain sites that we have where we get paid every month, we charge by the hour. We charge for the equipment and we charge for the dump truck. So you can actually rent not just equipment, but you can actually rent trucks, right? You can rent them from Hertz, which is like the commercial part of Hertz and whatnot. Stop the titties. Anyway, so like on this particular contract, I'll show you. Like on this particular contract, it clearly states on here there we go, right there, on the dump truck and on the backhoe, the loader, right? So I noticed in the video Ray said, well, who you gonna call at the last minute? You can't call it last minute. How they don't have it? And he was talking about aerating. Obviously, I feel like he doesn't know enough about the aeration industry. To be honest with you, I don't think he knows anything about aerating. And that's just my opinion, going by what he said in that video. There's so much money to be made in aeration; it's insane. But anyway, I'm just using him as an example. So he made a comment that, well, you have 10 accounts, and then they, what are you going to do? Someone calls up, then you got to get a machine. Even if you just have 10 accounts that you have to aerate, obviously you need to plan that ahead of time, right? Because you have to coordinate when you go to aerate, right? Because you got to walk the property, make sure there's no dog lines or in irrigation system, right? So you got to coordinate with that with the rental place. And then you can reserve the machine for that day or two or however long you need that piece of equipment. You're not going to call at the last minute. And I would hope that no one calls that you don't have to call at the last minute. You need to get yourself fucking organized. If you're calling at the last minute, get your shit together. If I curse and you guys get offended, listen, I apologize. But some people just need, that little kick in the ass. So I'm getting a little off topic. Anyway, if you got to coordinate all those things together. You're not going to wait till the last minute to go rent a machine. So going back to the commercial part, because again, commercial is really more our thing. That's how we do it, and honestly, that's how everyone should do it. So even like that, there's a seasonal contract, right? So we get paid the same on certain sites. We get paid the same, but it doesn't matter every month. So obviously, the more it snows, the less you make. You want less snow to make more profit at the end of the month. When it comes to renting equipment, you're making money with the equipment, whether you're renting it or not. If you want to get out of renting, then you got to keep renting until you can afford to buy. Nothing from nothing is nothing. You can't just pull money out of thin air to go rent a machine. I mean, I was listening to this video last night and I was kind of baffled because it made no sense to me. So anyway, I don't think certain people get it. So again, when it comes to residential, rent until you can afford to buy. If you can't afford to buy, then you got to rent. What are you going to do? Keep mowing? Listen, there's not much money in mowing, right? Your big money when you want to increase your ticket, right? That's in the bigger projects. When you start doing patios, walkways, or like we do pizza ovens and fire pits, right? So the avenues in our industry is insane. I mean, that lighting, it's mind-boggling, and I don't understand why a lot of guys don't talk about it. It's not addressed. Hey, listen, this is what we can do during the winter. This is what you can do during the winter, and show these steps. Whether you're showing the install part or show the money part. I know some guys don't want to show the money part because, well, they're afraid a competitor might see it, which I get. I respect that. Then don't show the actual dollar amount, but at least explain the percentage part so that way the guys watching your channel understand. Because think about it. Whether you're bidding on a residential job or a commercial job, everyone always wants to know, where I stand. Am I leaving any money on the table? If I outbid, if I overbid, where did I drop the ball numbers wise? Because I do it all the time. You know what I mean? I mean, think about it. How many times do you not get a bid on a job and then you see someone else doing the job? You want to know whether those numbers, where that guy came in or that girl came in, right? So when I see these videos, I'm just baffled, to be honest with you. I'm baffled. And I really hope that, I don't care what business you're in, I really hope that you don't run your business that way. And again, I don't want Ray or anybody else to feel like, oh, I'm purposely going after them. Fuck, I'm going after all of YouTube. No. No, I'm using that video as an example. And again, listen, I know you can say, well, that's their opinion, and you know what they say about opinions. Listen, I'm breaking down facts. If someone wants to come at me or say something, at least be, if you're gonna come at me, at least have the balls to actually call me or come on live or whatever, and show me actual bids, actual documents, actual statements that this is where, and be like, Virgil, this is where you're wrong because this is where I made it. Otherwise, these guys I feel like some of these YouTubers make videos just to make videos. Because think about it. You watch some of these videos and you watch it because a lot of guys, whether you watch for entertainment or you watch it, most guys watch because they're trying to learn, right? if I can't apply what you're putting out in that video, if I can't apply it to my business in real life and other people can't apply it, then you're really just blowing smoke up other people's asses. So that's really the main reason why I wanted to start. I put out one video with part one of the setup. I'm hoping once I get the other machine back, I can do part two, redo it. I'm a little picky about certain things, and I need to stop overthinking and just put it out there and let it ride. So there's been some small videos that I sent to a certain group of friends. I haven't even put that video out. So that's the reason why I want to start. I'm going to be doing my lives more. I have in both trucks, I have cameras now. So that way, what I'm going to do when my one guy is not working, you're going to watch me. I don't know how many hours I'm going to do it, especially with it getting cold. But the camera's going to be set up now, so you can actually watch me do my street sweeping. You can watch me pick up the garbage, and hopefully we can have some kind of interaction. And hopefully some people can see how much garbage actually gets picked up. So, and hopefully I can explain and answer some questions along the way about businesses. Anyway, I want to address that and the point of my channel. So the point of my channel is really just to help the solo guy grow from one guy to five guys. And so that way you can generate, hopefully once you get your five guys, for me to show you with just getting up to 12 commercial accounts, how to generate seven figures in income. And I say that because I think some people get caught up, and I don't want people to take this the wrong way. Listen, generating $1 million in annual sales is not a lot of money if you're running your business legitly. By the time you're paying your bills and you're running at a 15 to 20% profit margin, listen, if you're banking a lot of cash, I'll say it. I know a lot of YouTubers won't talk about it, right? Because it's frowned upon. If you can bank a lot of cash, then bank a lot of cash. That's my theory, right? Don't even go to commercial lending. Just stay with the residentials and just keep banking that money, man. If you want to go to the commercial end, obviously you got to go legit, right? You got to pay your taxes. You got to get your insurance, right? This is the other thing that I don't understand why a lot of people don't talk about is when you're getting your insurance for business, right? Because not only do you have to have general liability, but your vehicle has to be insured, your trailer has to be insured, right? And believe it or not, even though it's on your Accord, which you need when you're bidding, right? I don't know if I'm doing that wrong. You see my name and all the crap on there. Sorry, I'm gonna try to get this whole video thing down pat to make it easier for everybody. But if anybody has any questions, as long as you have Microsoft Office, I can send you just copies of how I bid and how I do things, just so you guys can learn and have a format and a formula to use that. Damn, I got off topic here. Anyway, that's the other thing. I feel like not enough guys show the meat on what they're doing when it comes to numbers. And when I say the meat, numbers-wise, everybody wants to know the numbers because everybody wants to know: Are you leaving anything on the table? Did I overbid? Did I underbid? How many times have we seen a lawn care guy doing a job that you bid on that you didn't get? Damn well in the back of your mind, you're like, well, wait a minute. I didn't get the bid. Why didn't I get the bid? Right? What did he come in at? Even though you should know your numbers, it still messes with your psyche. It does to me. So I'm hoping I can show that side, especially on the lawn care end, because I feel like it's not really discussed at all. That the insurance, I think I covered the whole, does it pay to rent a machine or not? Again, when it comes to rent a machine or not, rent until you can afford to buy, right? Nothing from nothing is nothing. You can't rely on growing you can't just rely on, banking lawn money and then hopefully one day, what are you going to do? Bank on hitting the lotto? And when it comes to renting the equipment, you got to plan it out. Obviously, you're going to talk to your customers. You're going to plan it out with your customers, and then you're going to try and what's up, Benjamin? And then you're going to try and coordinate it all together. You're not going to wait. You're not going to wait till the last minute. If you have to put a board together, like I showed everybody, actually, I don't know if I showed you guys before, but if you have to put a board together like ours, I don't know if you see that over there. So I'm a visual person, right? Not only do we have the apps, but we also have that. I've got the apps. I got the shit in my truck. And obviously, even though I have the contracts on my phone, I also have it on here just so I can double check and see what the hell's going on. I hope I answered, or I hope I made my point, I should say, when it comes to equipment. When it comes to renting the equipment, again, nothing from nothing is nothing. And again, when we rent it, right, because we have seasonal contracts, obviously the less it snows a year, the more we make, right? But we charge, and again, we charge by the hour. I don't know if I'm repeating myself, but I know I said that before when I thought I was live, when I wasn't live. So, but, and that's how we structure our contracts. And again, I'll show you guys one more time. Like here, because obviously if you don't have a dump truck, believe it or not, you can rent a dump truck. And try not to rent it just for one job. You want to coordinate it so you can line up a couple of jobs, right? And you want to coordinate it with the rental place ahead of time. So let me see if I can do this right. And that's how we do it. And usually people say, well, man, maybe you shouldn't do it. This is how I do it. It's not how, you do it your way. Listen, this is how almost everybody does it. There's no second guessing. Ray, what happens if you have a flat tire? You fix it. What do you mean? What do you mean if you have a flat tire? On my truck, on my trailer, on a piece of equipment? You fix it. You handle it, right? I mean, think about it. And you nothing from nothing is nothing. You got to start somewhere. So if I got to rent a skid steer, like these skid steer here, I got skid steers on sites, right? Like, for example, and again, I'll show you the addresses on all these storage facilities. We charge them $200. Yeah. If I have to rent a dump truck, yeah, it doesn't matter. Whether I rent a truck, and this is the part that I think people miss. Whether you have the equipment or you're renting it, if you have the equipment, that equipment, even if you own it, and I think a lot of guys in lawn care miss it, you still have to charge for that equipment being on the site. So let's say, like Ray has a skid steer, right? He has a skid steer, and he bid on a job. Guess what? When you're bidding on that job, you got to incorporate the money, the fees for that equipment being on the site. Because how else are you going to recuperate the usage of that machine? You can't just. I'm talking about a flat tire on a rented truck. You change it, right? Well, I mean, you don't have to go the route that we do. Like we have a contract with a tire company. If you're renting a truck from Hertz, right? I think it's called Herc, HERC, which is like Hertz's commercial end. They rent dump trucks, and so does United. They're like right here, like everywhere. You can rent trucks. You can rent pickup trucks, and you can rent dump trucks from either one, right? If you get a flat tire on it, then obviously change it. Or if it's a dump truck. I mean, think about it. You got to get it changed. Usually, if it's a dump truck and you get a flat on it, when you call their office, they'll tell you how to handle it, and they usually have a company on call who'll come out and fix it. I don't know what their policy is on flat tires. I've never had an issue with getting a flat tire on a dump truck. Right? When you call Herc and when you call United, they're all brand new trucks. Now, granted, just because they're brand new doesn't necessarily mean that's not possible. That's not impossible to get a flat tire. Because yeah, you can get a flat tire, right? But think about it. Whether I'm renting a dump truck, a skid steer, or if it's sitting on one of our sites, like it is here, and I'm going to show you guys actual bids of seasonal contracts that we have, the machines sit there. And then we charge by the hour. Obviously, with snow, it might be a little bit different than what you do, because with snow, I get paid the same every single month. So obviously, the less it snows, the less it snows, the more I make. But I'm getting paid every single month. So I don't even really care. Why? Because the money is actually, what we charge is actually included in the bid. Because you can remember something, and this is the part that I think people don't understand, is that you have to charge for your equipment. And you have to look at it as if you're renting your equipment, even if you own it. But that sucks time, and that's the whole point of my video. That's time from actual work, because I'm on the side of road changing. Rental company's still going to want the equipment back. Yeah, but think about it. And maybe I'm misunderstanding, right? If I'm misunderstanding, I apologize. Whether you're renting the truck or it's your truck, it's still a flat tire, right? A flat tire is a flat tire. Whether it's yours or you're renting it, it's still got to get changed, right? So that's the part that maybe I don't understand what you're saying. Because, I mean, think about it. Just because you're getting a flat, so what? It's still got to get changed. Whether you own it or someone else owns it, you're renting it, right? The only difference is you're going to have to call the rental place and ask them, hey, listen, who do I call? You're not bringing the truck back or waiting. You call them up and say, hey, listen, I got a flat with the truck. Who do I call to get this thing fixed? And if it's a dump truck, obviously you're not going to change it because you don't have the equipment to go out. I mean, who drives around with equipment to change the tire on a top kick in that truck? I mean, nobody does. Not even I do. You know what I mean? I get that, but if I own the equipment, I can move the job around and not have to depend on rental. Yeah, but Ray, and I think this is the part that we're missing. Yes. It doesn't matter if you own it or not, right? If you own the equipment, you should be charging or try to incorporate the money into what you're bidding as if it's a rental. If you're renting the equipment and you're worrying about getting a flat or a break, listen, here, maybe this is the part that I think we're missing here. How do you afford to buy that equipment? Not everybody has money to go out and go buy a piece of equipment. Not everybody's got the money to go out and buy a piece of a skid steer. We've got close to 7 sites. I don't have 7 skid steers and backhoes to put on these sites and 7 dump trucks. But when I bid, I'm bidding for the job. Maybe this is the part I should explain also. We have certain equipment on certain sites. Certain sites, I don't need to have equipment there, right? But with the rental place that we deal with, we have them reserved. So that if we have to go pick it up, we have top priority. So maybe that's the part I should explain earlier, but it doesn't matter because, I mean, I get that, but if I own the equipment, I can move it from job around and not have to depend on rental. Yeah, but you own it, right? How did you get to own it? How did you come up with the money to buy it? Think about it. Nothing from nothing is nothing. So the solo guy who's mowing and wants to get into pavers or doing what you do, do the land clearing, they got to rent the machine, right? Because how else are they going to get the money to get to the point where you to get where you are? Think about it. There's a lot of guys out there on YouTube, Ray, that want to get to where you are, right? So the catch is, all these guys that look up to you, they're trying to figure out, how do I get to where Ray is, right? The other thing about your channel that I think that I wish more people don't understand and more people would try to comprehend is, every video, Ray, you talk about money. I'm making X amount of dollars today, right? I got $400 or $70. I hope that more guys in our industry do that. I hope that more guys in the industry listen to, how do I phrase this? When you talk about how much money you're making that day, or how much you're doing per yard, and how much you're making per day, I really hope more guys are doing the same thing, because when you're doing it that way, you multiply the days and the weeks and the month, people get to see how much money they actually make. And I think a lot of guys that in lawn care don't do or don't mentally do, talk about money wise like you do. Um, and I really hope that more guys do. And honestly, and it's just me, the outside looking in, I don't see it. I don't see a lot of guys talking about money wise. And again, they don't have to say how much money they're making per job. I I think that part is key, knowing how much money you make a day. You know, I used to rant all the time. I said that in the video. You got to be smart with your money. Yeah, you do have to be smart. Again, Ray, I'm not, like I said, man, there's good parts and bad. There's good parts and bad parts. That I viewed on your videos. Again, like I said, you got to get. There's a lot of guys look up to your videos. I mean, you've got, I've got, you're what, 1,700 views or whatever. Subscribers. And a lot of guys want to get to where you have. A lot of guys want to get to the equipment that you have, right? The question is, how do they get where Ray Ray is? Because think about it. It's the soul, and again, just my opinion, and it's just from the research that we've done. On YouTube, it's really more about the solo guy trying to grow, right? So a lot of guys are going to look up to like you, Ray Ray. Dirty's doing some phenomenal shit. You got the Spencers, right? And then there's only a few guys. And again, it's just my side looking in, because I want to show the side that people don't talk about. I want to show the actual contract side, the actual side of growing from 1 to 5 guys, and how to make it through winter. That is one key that we talked about last week. I think Bowman was in here. How to make it through winter, because a lot of guys talk about money, how much money they need to put away. How to make it through the winter. It's not really broken down. The formula isn't really broken down. Jamming. But a lot of people are not surprising. Be smart with one's money should not be said. It should be basic. Yeah, you know what? Benjamin, you're right? I should put the link up there somehow. Let me figure out how to do the link. And Ray's right. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't get it. You know what I mean? I've said it before. There's one thing that I liked about Ray Ray's channel is that he discusses the money part. And a lot of guys, unfortunately, don't discuss the money part. How much money they're making every day. Because, think about it. It's how much money you're making every day, how much money you add that for the week, add it for the month. So that you know how much money you're making to cover your bills. And I think a lot of guys don't understand that. They don't get it. You know what I mean? And then in the wintertime, they're struggling. So I hope that the people that are watching Ray Ray's videos actually grab that and understand that, and then try to figure it out. Because many guys, what happens? Look at Facebook, right? A lot of guys do it. Listen, I do it. I look for, and again, might be bad. People might think this is bad. I love Facebook in the winter because a lot of guys that are hurting, unfortunately, because they didn't figure out how to plan their money right? They got this shit up for sale. So for me, I want to know what I'm buying, what the deals are. And the deals, unfortunately, are in the winter, right? I want to know how much is making, what does it cost, what do to get the job. And Ray, that's exactly how it should be done. Unfortunately, Ray, for some reason, I don't think enough guys understand it. For some reason. They don't grasp it somehow. And it just baffles me. It baffles me. And I in a way, I hate it that enough people, listen, there's a lot of money in this industry. For guys having to suffer during the winter, to have to, let's say you don't want to do plowing or you don't want to do street sweeping, right? And maybe it's a little unfair for me because, we do street sweeping. But let's say you don't want to do plowing. You should be able to make enough money throughout the season if you have your numbers and you can get the accounts and the sales. That way you don't have to really struggle during the winter. So I don't, that's the part that I hate, because I feel like, and I could be wrong, I feel like it's not explained enough or not explained well. And when I say not explained well, the formula on how to get that number. So I'm hoping I was supposed to do it last week. I've got too many videos I put together. I got to figure. I'm trying to learn how to edit and stop using Fiverr so much. But that my thumbnails, that's the part I want to show because I feel like that part is not explained. And I understand a lot of guys don't want to show the numbers like I want to show the numbers. Like I'm going to show the numbers because a lot of guys are afraid, right? Oh, because again, we do mostly commercial. So a lot of guys, oh, well, I don't want to show my numbers because I'm afraid of my competition or whatnot. And I get and I respect that, right? Me, I'm not so worried because our contracts are multi-year, right? So obviously what the expenses are this year, next 3 years, probably I'm not going to be as expensive after that. When we bid commercial, right? That's one of the main things I look for. I want that multi-year contract. So it locks it in. It locks it in for me and gives me the peace of mind. So, and some people might not agree with it. Listen, I've been doing this a very long time. That's how everyone, especially doing commercial work, everyone should be looking forward to that. Everyone should be going for the multi-year. Might be hard in the beginning. In the beginning, you might get stuck with just getting the 1-year contracts. But you do the 1-year contracts, you do a good job, right? And then when they call, you'll get calls and emails. You do other sites in a pinch. Make sure you do those jobs. And then when it comes to renewal, that's when you hammer and that's when you request for the multi-year contracts. I'll say a lot of guys aren't making what they want you to think. That's why they don't say numbers. Yes. Jim's 100% right. A lot of guys are embarrassed to talk about the numbers because if I'm understanding what Jim said, is because a lot of guys are afraid of that they're not making enough. You know what I mean? I mean, what's the word I'm looking for? They call, I don't want to call them lowballers, but a lot of guys are not. Why? Because they're afraid. $1,000 means 700 after taxes and fuel and what comes in. $1,000. $1,000 a day really isn't shit. That's why, like, if you're doing residential, right? And I've said this so many times. Listen, bank as much cash as you can. You know what I mean? I pay a lot in taxes. I probably pay as much as some people make a year in personal income. It kills me. But when I see a lot of solo guys, and again, I know it's frowned upon for YouTube, but if you can bank a lot of, especially, I mean, think about it, especially if you're taking Cash App, Venmo, not Zelle, Cash App, Venmo, I forgot what the other ones are. Because think about it, anything over $600, you're gonna get a 1099K, right? Well, now you're paying taxes on that loan that you did for $35 or $40 or whatever it is. Bank that cash, then roll the dice on a calculated gamble. I'm not really understanding that one. I would bank the cash, or I'll put it somewhere. You know what I mean? The taxes are insane. I mean, think about the expenses that you have now, all your overhead, right? Your insurance. I talked about insurance before. At least I think it was live when I was talking about insurance before, where I don't get sidetracked. Insurance is expensive. I mean, if you have the proper insurance, right? I mean, granted, we plow, we street sweep, but it's not just your general liability. You got to have your vehicle, your trailer, your equipment. That's why, I mean, I think I showed this before. Even though they're separate companies, your broker will put an accord together for you. And then, so when you're bidding commercial, comes out like this, right? And then everything's on here, even though it's like all different, you work with comp and whatnot. If you have to have comp, think about it. It's expensive, man. You know what I mean? You have all your taxes, you have all your insurances that you have to pay. That's why again I'm not a fan of it. So I've said it so many times. If you can bank the cash, bank the cash. You know what I mean? If you got a claim, unless you're going to finance, unless you're going to buy a house, right? I mean, think about it. When you have a business, what are you doing? Right, and you're legit, and you're claiming as much as you can. You're writing off as much as you can, right? Because you want to pay as much tax, right? And obviously, you're buying whatever equipment you want to buy at the end of the year. However, if like us, right? If Lawnscapes America is that's all you have, and you don't have another job, and you go to finance a house, right? It's actually the opposite then. You don't want to show as many deductions. You want to show more profit to show that you can afford the building or the house that you're trying to buy. But obviously, so I mean, those are the things you have to, has to be in the back of your mind also. You got to think long term. Insurance isn't bad until you start having over 3 employees. That's where liability and comp go way up. Mine isn't bad because I subcontract. Yeah, I mean, listen, subcontracting is great, man. I mean, listen, that's really a great way to go. So you don't have to worry about it. Brett, what's up, man? The only thing is, like, when you're bidding commercial on certain developments, they don't want you to sub, right? So like when we use TruGreen on certain developments where we mow, TruGreen will come out and their trucks are white. They might have like little, I forgot what it's called, like, like little shit on there, but you won't see TruGreen on there. And then they they get vests from Marquell. If you guys seen it in a couple of my videos, Marquell will actually give them a vest or two, and it just says Lawnscapes of America. And then they go out and spray, because on certain bids, when you're bidding commercial sites, they don't want any subbing, and that's really the only way that we figured out for us how to get around it. So, but let me figure out how to do the link. I hope I explained everything the way how we do it. Again, I'm hoping more people learn. As we go, I'm going to try to show more of the solo part when I do the camo with the sweeper. I'm hoping you guys see what we see when we're street sweeping, because again, all we do is shopping centers. Let me see, how do we do the link up in this bitch? How do we do the link? Edit. Nope. Nope, that ain't it. Flo, how do you how do you add a link on this thing? Later, Brett. Hey, leaving? Banner and broadcast. No, Brett, how do you not do it? It was so stressful lining up work to do over the weekend when I was renting equipment. That's what prompted me to really start looking about. Listen, I like that. I was talking to Matt MG about it one night. I like that lift you got. I think that lift that you got is like a game changer. Like when you're, listen, you don't have to climb. You don't need a goddamn climber, right? I mean, hiring a climber is expensive, right? So having that lift and having the property where to keep the lift that you have is clutch, because a lot of guys need something like that. But I would hope, and again, I'm hoping you're doing it this way. I'm hoping that when you're bidding, that you're somehow incorporating the money for the equipment. And I don't want to say that that's just how we do it. That's how everyone should be doing it, because your equipment is working. Everything has got to go perfect to make. Everything has got to go perfect to make. Yeah. Present. How do I Flo? How do you do the I don't know if Flo's in here or not. How do I add a link? So extra camera. No, don't want to do the extra camera. Valve. Man, I didn't even know I had these features here. Hold on. Oh, missed call. Oh, damn! I didn't know you called me. How do you? How do I add a link? Does anybody know how to add a link? Invite. Oh, never mind. There we go. Copy. I need to figure out how to put the link on the banner somehow. Anyway, that's really the point of my channel. I'm hoping that more people get more information on how we do things. Obviously, I'm going to show more of the commercial end, and then obviously when we do the residential, most of our residentials that we do, and I know Brian doesn't like it, they're just new construction and houses on golf courses, because that's our niche. That's where we like to stay. I'm hoping come spring and summer, I can show you guys that part. And with the cameras being set up in the truck, I'm hoping that it'll show you guys a different point of view on what we look at. So, and then obviously we're going to try and show everyone along the way the paperwork, bidding, what to look for, and and then take it from there. So I'm just, again, good part of my channel and me going live and stuff. I wasn't happy with YouTube. I don't think there's enough information out there, and I understand a lot of guys don't want to share certain numbers because they're embarrassed that they feel like, well, maybe I don't want to share that because, well, I don't charge enough. Not charging enough profit-wise, I think that's another problem in itself. Because at the end of the day, how much are you making, right? After everything's said and done, right, and you're doing your month end, there's another report that we have that breaks down where our profit is. A lot of people are not looking at that. You know what I mean? They're looking at, well, how much they're making, off their lawns and shit, but they're not looking at, well, what their total expenses were for that day, that week, and then the month. And that's clutch right there. My residential accounts are lumped in with the business owners, and that other than that, I don't do many residentials. Why is Virtual behind on the chat? Yeah, I don't know why I'm so behind on the chat there, Flo. So, Flo, well, I just saw you post that. Why is Virtual behind on the chat? When I start doing my lives, I'm just, well, unless I'm in the truck, when I'm in here doing my lives, I'm going to not even look at the chat in the beginning. I'm going to show you guys on the whiteboard and on our paperwork how to do certain things, how to come up with certain numbers so you're not as stressed. And then once I'm done making my point, then I'm going to look at the chat. Especially with my ADHD, I'll just get distracted, especially if someone says titties. Any thoughts about leasing a skid steer? Yes, you can lease a skid steer. Heck, you can rent it. Like we rent it, like we rent ours, right? We rent a couple for it's wintertime. Snow. Like, you guys don't have to worry about snow. So we bill per hour. So whether you have it on sitting on certain sites or you worked out an arrangement with the rental place ahead of time to have it picked up when certain things come up. Brian says, well, see, Brian, that's why I made my point in the beginning. Actually, I was going on a rant, and I thought you guys were hearing me until Jim called me. I didn't know you guys. I wasn't even live yet. So, what is it? Leasing isn't a bad option, but if you're doing forestry work, bush hog and other things is going to even scratch up. It's not smart. Then you'll hit crazy fees. Yes, if you're doing what Ray does and you're brush cutting, you're taking a big gamble fucking up that machine, right? So it would not be wise if you're doing brush cutting, I don't think, to be renting a machine. Hopefully you're building your way up to getting to the point to getting that machine. Leasing might be good for some that don't have good credit, and leasing can write off everything instead of depreciation. Yeah, if you don't have good credit and you can't finance it, I mean, listen, there's obviously there's companies out there that'll rent almost anybody with a pulse, or at least I should say, certain things to anybody with a pulse. Yeah, if you don't have good credit, then you don't have a choice but to lease or rent, right? If credit sucks, you won't be leasing. That is 97% true, Dirty. There are certain companies that will lease you with ridiculously high interest. They will lease you equipment. So, personally, I would never lease one. I'm way too up in the machine. I'm going to always try and buy one as soon as I can, even if I have to make payments at 5 years, no interest. Yeah, listen, if you've got the credit for it, well, not lease from a dealer. There's actually certain leasing companies, right, that came out that are going to that are working out, believe it or not, Dirty, with certain dealers where it's high interest. And I was talking to someone last week about it, and there's a few new companies coming out with some crazy equipment, and they were telling me about it. Oh man, what the hell is it? It's like a mini backhoe. I think the engine assembled here, or the engine assembled in Japan or whatever, and the body assembled here, something like that. Anyway, there are certain companies, believe it or not, that will lease if you have bad credit. Believe it or not, a couple of options there. They'll even look, if your business is established, that's the other thing. Your business has to be established. One of the main things a lot of them look at is your it's actually a name for it, how they go into your bank account. It's supposed to be secured. I completely forgot what it's called. But anyway, they get access and they view your transactions. So it'll go by your bank statements or it'll go by all your credit card transactions. So, oh man, I should have came more prepared on that one. I got caught up in a high interest on that mailer that they got it where I have to make like 48 payments. No break if I paid it for see what I mean? Right? Like Ray got caught up in a high interest one on the man list. Dude, there's companies out there, man. That's not a lease. That's torture. Yeah, that is torture. But unfortunately, to get your leg into the game, right? You got to do what you got to do. I mean, listen, if you can get to work, right? If that's going to be your avenue, your line of work that you're going to go after, those are the options you have to decide what you want to take. You know what I mean? You want to go the high interest route and hope you can afford it, or renting it. I have never paid interest on any big equipment. I bought like zero turns and would never lease when I could buy. There's actually a company in, just a matter if you can overcome it by napkin money with the machine. The oh my god, what's it called? There's a company down Skid Row. Where did I find those? You know exactly where. The Lot Lizards. There's a company down, I think it's in Georgia or South Carolina. There's a company in South Carolina store that actually offers high interest loans for equipment. That's what it was in South Carolina. So but on Skid Row. But anyway, I hope people get stuff from my lives and my videos. I hope to learn a few things. I hope I can share. I mean, I know a lot of people are not into it. I'm going to show the other side of street sweeping. Obviously, hopefully with the camera inside the truck, you guys can see what we see, and then the plowing part. I really think. What's up, Drew? I really think a lot of people should be. Brother B was referring to my earlier comment. I'm sorry, man. Sorry, Jim. I didn't say it. I really think when you start getting into commercial, a lot of people should be going after those seasonal contracts. And then once you go after the seasonal contract, going from the one-year contracts going to the multi-year contracts. And then and that's where you want. And then when you get to the multi-year contract, well what are you doing the one or multi-year? That's the goal that we try and go for. So you get that guaranteed income. And then when you get that guaranteed income, it'll change things for you. It'll definitely change it. But the important part is knowing your numbers, knowing where your profit is. And a lot of guys don't, unfortunately. You know what I mean? A lot of guys don't want to share it because they're embarrassed. Because a lot of people just don't charge enough. They don't know, they don't know what they don't know. They don't know how much they're actually making because they're not looking like I said earlier. Ray discusses, not really discusses, but Ray mentions in his videos how much money he's making every day, right? I would hope that a lot of guys are doing the same thing, discussing how much they're making every day. You don't have to do it on YouTube, obviously, but or figure how much they're doing every day, how much they're doing every month, and then every week, and how much they're doing every month. But not only that. When you're doing your numbers every day, like when Ray talks about his numbers every day, I hope these guys that do follow Ray and do it like Ray talk about the numbers every day, that they also look at their expenses. So that way they know, well, listen, I might have brought in $1,000 this week or today, but this is what my expenses were. My fuel, my helper or whatever. That's why, again, I've said it so many times, and I know it's frowned upon on YouTube. If you're a solo guy and you're doing residentials, or if you're doing residentials and commercial, which I would hope you have a mixture of both, bank. If you can get cash from your residentials, bank that cash, man. Bank it. Because again, most guys on YouTube that you see, and most guys on Facebook that have all their equipment for sale during the wintertime, they don't know. Well, they might know their numbers, but they don't know where their profit is. So they might be able to say, well, yeah, I made $5,000 or $10,000 this month. That's all fine and dandy. If you made $5,000 this month or $10,000 this month. But if your expenses were $8,000, guess what? You walked away with $2,000. That's $500 a week. Can we talk pressure washing? No, Daddy, we can't talk pressure washing because I'll be asleep on the floor 2 minutes after you talk about pressure washing. No, listen. Pressure washing is great. The price point on pressure washing is phenomenal, right? It's just not my thing. If it's the guys that do it, all the power to them. They make great money at it. It's an industry I don't really care to, it's not for me. So if it's for you, all the power to you, God bless you. There's a lot of money in power washing. I got to give it to them. There's a lot of money in it. It's just not my thing. So I'd rather sub it out or, or pass it along to somebody else. So, because at least then I might not be into it, but at least then I'm building that relationship. Whereas pressure washing is hard physical work. You know what? It is. Although Jim makes it look easy. He's over there just sprinkling a little bit of water here and there. And he's doing all these $1 million homes, and that's it. He's done. Although Willie's got he's got a fast setup. I mean, he's got the hot water thing and I'd come up, but I'm on the phone and my mother-in-law's asleep. Oh, no worries, man. No worries. I appreciate it, Jim. There's a lot of money in pressure washing, house washing, right? I mean, like I said, I watched Jim do it in a few of his videos, and he makes it look easy, right? I'm sure once you're doing more commercial work, you would need equipment like Will. I mean, I don't know who else on here has equipment like Will, but Will has a sweet trailer. I mean, he's got that hot water set up and stuff. Certain jobs that we used to do, like I'll tell you right now, don't do Walmart, right? Like I've got burned so much because you don't really get burned on Walmart per se. It's really the property management company that run their shopping centers. Again, because that's our thing, shopping centers. But I saw guys power washing the hot water system. I was amazed. That, and these guys do all the dumpster pads, right, for all the restaurants. So there's a lot of money in the power wash game. I got to give it to them. But again, it's just not our thing. So I believe in me staying in my lane. So I know where we make our money at, where we make the most of our money at. And power washing is just not, even though there's great money in it, profit margin, it's just not an avenue where I want us to go down. So, and again, I'm hoping my channel shows a different side. I'm going to try to show, I don't want people taking numbers the wrong way, right? So I'm going to try to show the solo part. And then obviously, if Marqual and them want to be in the videos, they can be in the videos. But I know he's in a reel. He might be in 2 reels that we posted on Facebook, I think. And I don't know if it's anywhere else. But anyway, it's on Instagram where you see Marqual doing a site. So I'm going to try to show more the residential part, the solo part. Is he trying to talk himself out of it? I want a machine to do everything. Ray, listen, if you find a machine that does everything, you let me know. My number's listed online. Can't miss it. Yeah, I shy away from commercial work. I have commercial. I pass on those calls too. I'll do apartments and crap, but not shopping centers. Gas. I don't do gas stations. Actually, I don't think the bid of it comes for gas stations. But like when I say commercial work, like when we use like the CVS's and the Verizon, like when you're bidding on them, you're bidding. I'll show you a bid packet. Like let's say you want to bid on 60 CVS's, 60, right? So you'll get. I'll share this with you guys. So what happens is when you bid on, obviously there's more than 60 CVS's here, but let's say you can only handle 50 CVS's, the pharmacies. Basically, this is what you'll get. You'll get something like this. You guys can read that. It's got the addresses, the site numbers. Those are my notes on there, addresses, and the scope of work. So basically, you just look at those sites, and I mean, the numbers is insane. The amount of CVS sites that they have, obviously. That's the route. For me, it just simplifies it because it's so easy to look at these sites online, just bid them and then go. But again, you're not dealing with these companies directly, right? You got to go through property management companies. So, and listen, there's good and bad. Unfortunately, there's a lot of bad property management companies out there. So you really got to stay away from certain property management companies, because a lot of these companies that they won't deal with you directly. Very good buy for an machine. How much labor here? For a square, yeah. Listen, there's that Jake. What's up, man? John's Southern Exposure Road. I have a power washer set up. We pull in around $30K a year. We just that, and that's part time. The lawn service is the main money. We target power washing in the fall and spring when lawns are dormant. So I'm gonna ask you a question, man. Do you guys do gutters? Do you guys clean gutters and then add little gutter different barbers on top? Yeah. Listen, Brian's thing on the squirting fertilizer. Profit margin's high on fertilizer. We treat we let me explain to you guys the numbers. So we treat a little over 300 residential customers. That's not a lot. That's really one guy's route. Mowing wise, you guys might think that's a lot. With Furt and Squirt, it's not. I mean, think about it, you're on the average property 5, maybe 10 minutes tops. You're spending more time loading up. If you're pulling a hose, which we did in the beginning, I hated it. Because you spend more time with the setup, pulling in, pulling out, than you do your time on the property. When you hit close to 400, that's probably enough for one guy. So for one route. And then obviously you can grow from there. The key part about the fertilizer is you need a lot of cows to make good money. A lot. But it's so easy. You know what I mean? Because think about it. It's so easy to hit 15 to 20 lawns a day. And again, you're not on those properties long. Now, granted, we're not down south, right? We're up northeast, right? We're in PA. So our property might not be as big as yours. Well, Ray's in here, right? So Ray, you discussed. So that was my thinking when I bought the skid steer. I was thinking to have something during the winter lawn care was always the main thing. But once I tasted that skid steer money, also there's a lot of money in skid steer money, man. Benjamin wrote, Furt prices could make bidding contracts a little complicated. Yeah, yes and no, right? Like when we do HOAs and apartments, I'll go back to something aeration in a second. But like on certain developments that we do, right? We don't treat, right? It's just too much for us. So because I'm a small guy, right? So we sub it out to we sub all the big stuff out to TruGreen. So certain bids you can't. Well, let me rephrase that. Certain bids you're not allowed because they don't want anything subbed out. But when you sign your contract with, and you don't have to use TruGreen, there's other small Furt companies, Furt and Squirt companies out there. Because we used to spray 2 years ago. We used to spray for some other contractors, and TruGreen will show up with basically white truck. You give them your vest, and then there you go. They're on the property spraying with your vest on. So there's big money in it. Wait, there's a lot of money in aeration. A lot. I don't have the thing in front of me. Oh, matter of fact, I do have it. I have it on the board. I'll show you some numbers on aeration. So, actually, I think this shows more than just aeration. This shows actually a whole Furt program, believe it or not. So, let's see if I can make it smaller for the screen. So, like, I don't know if that'll work or not. Does that work? That might not work. I'm gonna have to figure out a way how to show numbers. I think when I do the regular videos, I'll have to show the numbers. So like, and basically the way we do it, we break it down from 1,000 square feet all the way down to 15,000 square feet, and it's actually all our programs, and then obviously aeration. There's a lot of money in aeration. The problem with fertilization right now, these past 2 years, is because what's going on in Ukraine, believe it or not. Um, the way fertilizer is made, believe it or not, and I don't want to geek you guys out, but and obviously seed, right? So like we have turf type to fescue. So a lot of our seed that comes from Oregon, actually Oregon, Oregon. So oregano, no, Oregon. So, but that's our program there. Oh, that's what I'm showing the aeration part, the comparative pricing. So I mean, think about like on 1,000 square feet, just on our fertilizer program, it's $43, right? Just to aerate that one property, the 1,000 square feet, is $175. So most of our properties, however, because of where we are, don't go really beyond 5,000 square feet. So I mean, think about it. A 5,000 square feet property, we're at $56. That's just to treat it, right? Not including growth control and whatnot. But to aerate it is $336. So, but just to give you an idea, pricing wise. So, Ray, you should chase trees. You do very well. You're very well set up for that. He is. He's got that man lift. I think Ray's man lift is clutch. You know what I mean? So he definitely has a step up. Ray definitely has the advantage because having that man lift. That's definitely a moneymaker. That's for sure. So, you guys are lucky. I don't think anybody up here is up north, right? You guys are lucky. You guys don't have to deal with snow. But then again, I don't know what you guys are going to get from the storm that's coming. But he definitely has a sweet setup having that man lift. So, because again, you don't have to pay. You're not climbing, right? You're in the 50s like I am. I'm 52, right? And then you don't have to pay a climber. Paying climbers are good money. So and the insurance and comp. I don't mess with tree work because the insurance and comp work. I mean comp money. I'm not paying that. I'm not getting involved. So anything over 8 feet, we do not touch. So that's when all that gets subbed out to a tree company. So, but we don't come. I guess because where we are and the accounts that we have, we barely come across that. So I never have anyone ever really asking us about tree trimming and shit. So, but anyway, that's the goal of my channel, just to show the different side, to show the side that a lot of people don't want to show, to show the number side. Not only do I want to show the number side, but I'm going to show you guys the formulas of how to get to those numbers. So that way guys are not struggling as much during the wintertime and throughout the year, and how to come up with money. So, and I hope people learn. From, and again, listen, I'm learning constantly. I might be doing this forever, but I'm still learning. You know what I mean? I mean, technology is constantly changing. Constant changes for us, that's for sure. So, like, I'm sure it constantly changes for you guys. And that's the other thing about wintertime that I don't think I've seen or I've heard anyone talk about this during the winter in the lawn care industry. It's lawn care. It's wintertime. It's downtime, right? How come there's not more guys talking about, because I don't know if they're doing it or not, because I'm not living in their house. How come there's not enough guys educating themselves during the wintertime? I mean, think about it. There's all these trade shows. All these guys go to used to be called the GIE, now it's called whatever, Equip. There's classes there, right? There's classes freaking everywhere. And that's the other thing that I don't think it's addressed enough on YouTube about the classes that are going on, and how during the wintertime, listen, if you have to get a winter job, you got to get a winter job. But if you don't have a winter job, instead of sitting on granny's couch, why are you not educating yourself on your industry? So, and again, I don't know if people are or not. They don't discuss it. I just wish more people would discuss it because there's constantly shit to learn in our industry. Like I said, I've been doing this forever, and I'm still learning shit. Ray, my insurance is sky high. I'm sure it is, man. Ray, I'm sure your insurance is sky high having that lift. But you're in a spot, Ray, where you've got the equipment, man. You've got that lift. So, which, like I said, it is clutch. Where a lot of guys, wish they had a lift to go trim trees and shit. So, there's so much to learn, really make top dollar, and I'm trying to learn and evolve every day. Listen, Ray, man, listen, and that's really it, man. We all try and learn and evolve every day, all of us, man. You know what I mean? And I wish more guys would. So I just have to get the knowledge to really turn it out. Well, Ray, I think that's the hard. I think that's the hard part for everyone, right? So, but I wish more people would educate themselves. And the reason why, and I could be wrong, the reason why I think more people don't educate themselves is because I watch these videos on YouTube sometimes, or I listen to them, right? And I listen to some of the shit some of these guys say, and I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? If me or someone else in lawn care, a solo guy just starting off, if they can't apply to what some of these guys are trying to preach on YouTube, then how is that right? How is that, how does that even make sense? So, and that's how I look at it. You know what I mean? I could be wrong the way I look at it. I don't think I am. But if it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Benjamin wrote, I would love to take some small engine classes. Listen, if you can take some small engine classes, that's the thing right there. Because, I mean, think about it. Benjamin, you would save yourself money on repairs, downtime, and that can be your side hustle for other guys because you have the property, Benjamin. You got that nice big pole barn now that you got. So, like Benjamin, he's got an opportunity. What I feel, where if Benjamin took some classes on repairs, Benjamin could probably do repairs or what's that guy down south that does the cop that does the sharpening blades? He's got that big setup. Oh my God. What's that cop? Man, Mitchell. Right? Mitchell's got that whole setup, man, that expensive setup where he sharpens blades and shit, right? So Benjamin, he's got that building. Ray, he's in the process of making a pole barn. That's it. Yeah, Brian said Mitchell. So, but yeah, I mean, I mean, if you can add that somehow to your to your business or a side business to your business, it's another avenue for money. You know what I mean? Why not grab it? You're already in this industry already. So, dude, that's my favorite saying. Don't make money. Yeah, that's it, man. That's it, Ray. This fall 2022 has been the worst fall ever. Why? Because of rain? Ray, or because of employees? Dirty wrote, I took a hard look at my numbers 4 times. Oh, my number 4 times a year with my CPA. Sometimes more if he calls with that weird tone in his voice that says we gotta talk. It happens. Yeah, listen, you never want to be in that oh shit moment. I've shared with a few of you guys. I'll go grab it, see if I can block my social. Listen, when I got that bill for $157,000 at 1 year, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about taxes. I learned a lot what not to ignore. Like last year, we only owed 60. I think I shared it with Jim and them, right? And with the Brian, I think I shared with you guys. I'll bring it over here. Like last year, we only owed 61,000. So, which let me tell you something, man. It sure beats owing 157,000. So, but what's that saying I'm looking for? Not ignorance, but denial, right? Denial is not just the river in Egypt, right? We can't all just be like this, right? And I'll tell you what, man. I learned a lot. I learned a lot. Learned a lot about myself too, actually. So, but drought and rain. Yeah, you see, I guess because I live up here, right, up in PA. Us having 4 seasons, we didn't have that much of a drought this year. We had a lot of rain, not as much as last year, but we had a lot of rain. That's for fucking sure. So they were done dirty, totally trash, rain, totally trash. That's late summer. Yeah, listen, I was a little worried, man. Because like I said, we have a lot of seasonal contracts, right? So with all the rain we were getting in late season, because like when we were bidding on the snow, those bids actually came up in August. So I was worried because I mean, look, now we've got this big giant storm coming, right? And it's still early, dude. It's not even 2023 yet, right? We're what 2 weeks away. And back in my mind, I was like, oh shit, did I make a mistake on getting these seasonal winter contracts? Because think about it, it's not even January yet. And we don't usually get hit with our winter. We don't usually get like a hardcore winter till January. So like the middle towards the end of January, right? So we still got all of January, all of February and March to get through. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, shit. You know what I mean? With all this rain, and when, like I said, in the fall, we started getting all that rain, I had that oh shit moment. Did I screw up bidding wise? Because, I mean, think about it. We still have overhead. Now, if it snows more, now my expenses even go up even more. I mean, we already bought a couple of tons of salt. And I ordered more salt this year because, which in the beginning I was actually mad at myself because we already had salt from last year. So, but because this year we got more commercial accounts, I wanted to be more prepared on the salt because every year for some stupid reason, I'll get a call and email. Oh, there's gonna be a salt shortage. There's gonna be a salt shortage. I don't know how the fuck we keep getting a salt shortage, but I think like right now, I think salt right now is 100 and change a ton. Might be like $130 a ton. So let me see if I can catch up here. Ray wrote, those snow contracts are a gamble because it's more it snows, less money we make. Yes, right. The more it snows, the less money we make. So most of our contracts are seasonal. I did that this year because I took a gamble. Because last year, matter of fact, I'll bring the pricing over here on the salt. Because last year, we didn't get much salt. So I'm like, yo, listen, we got more contracts. We made more money last year. Let me take that gamble. I'll bring the pricing over right now on the salt. So on the salt, right? The salt for this year on the bulk salt, one scoop is pretty much like one ton, right? So it's $147 a ton. That's for this year on the salt up here. You can see that, right? So that's for this year. So last year, let's see what turn was for last year. So last year, bulk salt was 142? Yeah. So last year was 142. So on the tonnage, which obviously is cheaper to buy by the ton, it only went up $5 a ton. But you add it up, you do a couple of tons of salt a year, that's a lot of money. Obviously, bag salt and everything else went up. We used to use and it just worked out well for us control-wise. We actually probably went through more salt than we should have. When we used to do a bunch of CVSs, we used to do bag salt because all we had was tailgate spreaders, and it just worked out well for us because we did so many CVSs, we didn't have that many places. Like even now, we don't have the reason why I bought more salt this year because we don't have many places around here where we can go get bulk salt, especially during a storm. So like on a couple of our sites where we have the plowing, right? We have seasonal contracts. We actually have the bin set up, and there's actually a couple of tons sitting at a couple of different sites. How much does a ton do? I haven't seen snow in years. That's a hard question to answer because how do I put this? Depending on the storm, right? You might pre-salt, you might coat it. So that way when you're plowing, it's nice and cleaner. And then you also have to worry about temperature, right? Because if it gets too cold, rock salt is useless at certain temperatures when it gets too cold. So you actually have to like mix it. So what we do is we don't even mix it. So we just we don't even mix it. We just run it the way we run it, and then when the sun comes up, it actually helps us, and then we help for temperature to go up. So money does a ton of salt generate. Money does a ton of salt generate. There's a lot of money in salting. I don't know if this answers your question. There's guys out there like we have two guys. Well, last year we had one. This year we have one and a guy on call, depending on how bad the storm gets. There's guys out there that just salt. They don't even plow. They won't even put a plow on their truck, right? Because there's so much money in salting, a lot. So you don't even have to plow. You can just have a dump truck, but you got to deal with the consequence of the rust, right? So those are the things you got to figure. Pick and choose your battles, right? So how much is taught? How much money does a ton of salt generate? How do I answer this? It's hard to say because again, all we do is commercial and we have seasonal contracts. If you did residential or if you did per push, it might be easier than for me to break it down per storm, if that makes sense. But I didn't want to go that route this year. So because again, it's money. You know what I mean? So you obviously pay more by the bag and you buy pallets by the bag. You pay a lot more. I think was it $8.50 for a 25-pound bag, right? So, but I don't know what the stores sell it for retail wise, but when we used to buy by the pallet. So like now we only have a few pallets because it's just not money wise. You know what I mean? It's not worth it. And it's really just from last year that we carried over. So, but let's see what else I didn't answer. We could hardly work doing installs. The blessing was all the work that landed in the fall, especially here for Leo to install November, December were crazy. Benjamin, I've been watching some of these guys doing snow plowing, and I don't think you could pay this southern boy enough money to plow snow. Benjamin, yeah, if you live down south, right? So you're not used to having snow. Like we're used to having snow in the wintertime, but it's not like Buffalo where they got crammed. Buffalo last month, right? They got how many feet of snow? We don't usually get that in one shot. You know what I mean? I mean, think about it. Buffalo actually has trucks that will melt the snow on site. So, which is wild in itself. But they're used to getting that kind of crazy snow. We don't. So we bank most of our snow in piles, and then on certain contracts we have to haul it away. So, and that's where the backhoe and the dump trucks come in, and then that's where we charge per hour because now we have to haul it and it actually goes in like a retention pond. So, how cutthroat is plowing and salt? If you're doing residential, it's pretty cutthroat. Like I said, you don't have to do both. Like I said, there's guys out there that won't even put a plow on their truck because plowing abuses the truck big time. But then so does salt because of corrosion, right? But plowing really beats the shit out of your truck. So, um, and again, just from how we do it, I don't think there's that much cutthroating on plowing and salting because it's a lot of money, man. I mean, we charge a lot. You got, besides the truck, fuel, and the wear and tear, the transmission, the transaxle, the whole nine. So it's a different beast in itself. I really, and I'm like a stalker. I watch everyone. I haven't seen many guys really go that low money wise on plowing and salting. So, but that day I'm caught up, right? Well, I was calculating cutting the lawns and clean up all the way up to November, but it never happened. The drought. See, Ray got hit with a drought, man, and that sucks, man. I mean, it's just too bad you couldn't. Too bad you couldn't put sprinklers on everybody's lawn. A high entry price for a good setup, I'm assuming. Yeah, I mean, think about it. You're spending when plows went up, right? So we we have straight edges because I think straight edges clean better, right? But like on just a plow, and you don't have to go to new plow setup. I remember Jesse James do his setup. Actually, I don't know. I don't remember what he paid for a blade, but you can spend between 9 to 10 grand on a plow setup. And then obviously with V plows and like anything else, man, like mowers, the more bells and whistles you pay more. But there's a lot of money, there's a lot of profit to be made in plowing, a lot. Think about it. There's guys out there, there's companies out there where all they do is plowing. That's all, plowing and salting. That's all they do. I don't know. I mean, I love the industry. However, I realize at my age, I'm even getting to the point where, shit, man, I don't know. I think I want to be home sitting on the couch. So I don't know if I want to be out anymore. So, but I think that goes with everything. I think it goes with everything else. But yeah, I mean, you don't have to. And I'm hoping I can just show the one side. If you're a solo guy, like when Jesse James was doing it, when Jesse James had to plow, and I think he like kind of Frankensteined it on his truck, even on a simple setup like that, and you don't even need a spreader. You can get one of those that people throw away all the time, little fertilizer Scott spreaders. You can use a Scott spreader and throw some salt there and do a parking lot. Do like a CVS or Rite Aid or whatever you have down there by you. You know what I mean? Or even if you're doing residential, right? And you don't want to walk in. Basically, it's like feeding chickens. You just take it and launch it, right? You can just get one of those. I mean, how many you can buy the Scott spreader so damn cheap? If not, how many people throw them out every year? So just pick them up. Everyone is irrigated around here. The cost rarely sees drought, but everyone wants irrigation. That's true. Well, don't forget the money. I've got customers on the golf courses, right, that we do, where they bitch about the water bill. And to me, I'm like, well, why are you living on a golf course then? I mean, whatever. All they do in the season. There's some plow companies out there. That's all they do. And then once season is over, from April to October, all they're doing is what's the word I'm looking for? Procuring, right? They're just going after contracts because that's how much. I mean, think about it. That's how much money's in plowing. So, and again, almost all those companies, they're seasonal contracts. So, I mean, think about it, man. You get you don't have to go that extreme, but yep, the game clock is ticking. But the I forgot the name. I'll get the name of this one. There's one company actually in Philly. I don't know if they're in other states, but like they're in PA. They do PA in Jersey, and that's all they do is snow plowing. They do nothing else. So, yeah, definitely must be good. And plowing, there's a lot of money in plowing, man. A lot. So I mean, it's just, and I mean, think about it. you're renting skid steers and backhoes and shit. You're renting them for the season, right? You're renting them from November, well, really from like the end of October, right? So you're renting these machines to sit on properties, right? From November 1st to March 31st. So think about it. How much does it cost to rent a brand new skid steer from a tool rental place a month? Right? So now think about it. Times 5 months, machines are sitting there, right? Whether it snows or not. So a lot of money. There's a lot of money in plowing, man. That's why I I was going back and forth mentally whether or not, because that's why that the whole street sweeping thing. Like if it doesn't snow, we still get we have that money, and I I don't know. Everyone's got their goals and how the direction where they want to take their business, right? So that it's just a lot of money. I mean, it's great money, I should say. So do the guys that only saw have to make more runs each snow to keep up from building up? Well, when you're plowing, unfortunately, a lot of guys don't do this. Well, some guys actually give it to customers. When you're plowing, right, it doesn't matter if you're doing residential or commercial. If it's, let's say it's 4 inches, well, let's say it's 6 inches. Some guys, and I don't agree with it, some guys will wait till those 6 inches of snow is done snowing or whatever, right? And that's mostly those residential guys, because those residential guys are having the customer dictate how they're going to run their business. Because the customer will be like, no, let's say it's $75 a driveway or whatever. And let's say you should be doing multiple runs, right? So if it's a 6-inch storm, you should have been out there twice already. Because think about it. When you're pushing let's say it's a 6-inch storm, and you're pushing it at 3 inches. When I drop my blade, it's at 3 inches. But now when I push it a foot, I'm not pushing 3 inches of snow anymore. And if it's wet snow, dude, you're really abusing your truck. So then you have the guys that let customers, just like mowing, you have guys out there that let the customer dictate how they're going to run their business. And you have some customers that say, no, why don't you wait till the storm's done? It's only going to be a 6-inch storm or 8-inch storm. Well, guess what? Now you're pushing, it's 8 inches when you push it, but you're pushing 8 inches or 6 of wet snow. That's a lot of abuse on your truck. So if it's an 8-inch storm, you should have been out there twice. If the customer's telling you, wait, that's not the customer for you, man. Because now you just abuse. How much money are you making on the wear and tear on your vehicle? I mean, think about it. On my new truck, a transmission's $8,000, right? I blow my training, then what? So, just like lawn care, pricing is clutch, man. And unfortunately, I don't know about the commercial end, but on the residential end, guys give in. They give in to the customers. And which, again, for me, it's not worth it. Not worth the money. You know what I mean? You should be going after the other money then. Pass on those customers and go after the other money. But, so the guys only saw making more runs. You might be making multiple runs with salt. I mean, look at Spencer's. They've got the ball spreader like we used to have. And I mean, think about it. You're putting, let's say you're only putting 3 tons of salt in there. You know what I mean? Well, that's a lot. Let's say you're putting 2 tons. Because think about it. If you put, and this is one thing a lot of guys make the mistake, they overfill these fucking hoppers with salt. And what happens is when you overfill it, sometimes those augers get jammed because you'll either have the auger that spins or you have the belt and it just jams up. And then what are you doing? You're taking windshield wiper fluid, right? And you're dumping windshield wiper fluid in there trying to break up the salt. And then you have big giant metal stakes. Like we have it because we do it sometimes. We fuck up. Where you got to stand on the truck on the spreader and you're jamming it, trying to bust up the salt and shit. So, I mean, think about it. Let's say if you're spending 147, let's say you spend $150 a ton, you're throwing 2 tons in your hopper, and the hopper, that's $300. you're making on that one run in a matter of what? Let's say it's 4 hours. On the $300, you're charging between $1,000 and $1,200. So let's say in those 3 hours, you're not including fuel, unless you're solo. In those 3 hours, you may only made $700. So now, mind you, the storms. How long does the storm last? And you're doing multiple sites, so it's a lot of money, man. People do not realize how much money is in the plow salt game. So, but like I said, if you can't plow and you're worried about abusing the truck plow wise, and you seal your truck, I mean, there's so many guys out there that I wouldn't do it because I don't want to smell the oil all day. Those guys out there, they'll coat the whole frame of the truck with oil or what the hell is that other spray? And they'll spray the whole bottom of the frame or whatever. I mean, think of it, you're not abusing the truck that much then, right? You're just driving around with the spreader, hitting the switch, and you adjust the gauge. You adjust the opening and the spinner at one time. Now technology's gotten to the point where you can monitor how much salt comes out the back. Obviously, those machines are more money. And then you also have brine. Excuse me. And brine is basically it's like taking salt. It's like taking watered salt, whatever. How do I dumbify it? It's like taking watered salt really and spraying the roads, or like for us, spraying the parking lots. So, did he say blowing a tranny? Yes, I did say, Brian. I said blowing a tranny. So, but titties, yes, titties are beautiful. So anyway, Benjamin. But anyway, I'm hoping I can make more time for this to do this more often, and I got to release those stupid videos I made. Saltwater. That's basically what it is. Matter of fact, what's his name? Nick, right? Our favorite clown. He made a video years ago. One love. I don't know the rest of the words. Anyway, he made a video years ago. He was in a garage at his house where he was working, and he was making brine in his garage with the Home Depot buckets. So, same thing, really, in theory, right? The key is, I mean, you can use a backpack sprayer. It'll clog up like a motherfucker. So, but brine is not made with beet juice. Yes, believe it or not, that's how it started to be made a long time ago. Since then, technology's changed. It's changed big time. I'm trying to think who just got bought out in the brine business. That's another avenue of it's just something else. How do I put this? It's another tool to put in your arsenal. All from brine. So, but it's like anything else, like any other industry. But the amount of money in doing plowing, salting, and trying to incorporate brine into your contract is insane. I'm not sure if I'm ever going to go that route. So, but I mean, you can buy a setup for, I think it's like $5,000, something like that, to make a small little batch of brine. So, but I currently have a lot on my plate, and so I'm still trying to figure things out on my end. So I don't know if I ever want to go that route. So, unless anybody else has any other questions, I'm gonna get the fuck off of here. So we had, I don't know why. Again, it's money, but we got called today actually to do a salt run, and dude, it's raining like a mother. It's supposed to. Well, it was like 38 degrees. It's supposed to go up in the 50s tonight, and then we had 2 commercial accounts call us up for salt runs. So, you know, uh, at first I was like, listen, they gotta be crazy. But we had it done. I mean, it's money. I mean, and I kid you not, I was telling Stevie today, because I had sent Stevie out. I told him, I said, he'll probably spend more time driving than he will at the sites. And he was literally at the site, or at each site, I want to say maybe 10 minutes, if that. So, because you're literally just running through salting, and then, we use something different for the sidewalks, and then salting the walkways, and that was it. And then he went to the other site, and then that was it. And then we just logged it in, and then I'm actually I gotta print it up, because even though we get paid monthly, we actually have to we log it in. So, and then obviously there's the pictures and stuff that we have to log in. But you're literally on these sites not long at all salting. Man, this company around here with 3 crews, all they do is trim palm trees. Man, hell with the snow crap, Brian said. Yeah, Brian Benjamin's like, yo. Listen, it's not for everyone. Man, there's a company around here with 3 crews, all they do is trim palm trees. Listen, the only palm trees we have in Philly are the fake ones. They're like 5-6 feet tall. People put them on their trees. Otherwise, we don't have a palm. There ain't no palm trees in Philly, except for the fake ones, like fake titties. But anyway, that's about it. So, but anyway, if that's about it, if anybody has any other questions or wants to talk shit about something else, let me know. About to find out what? They're hiding the IROX. They probably are hiding the IROX, goddammit. Bastards. About to find out if my shop is negative 15 wind chill proof. Wait, you got a heat? Do you have heat in there, Benjamin? Do you at least have heat in that bitch? I hope you have heat. My battery is about toast. Brian, are you doing a Willie? Do you not have your charger with you? Is that what you're doing? You got power and water. All right, well, at least you got power, man. Maybe you can put it, hopefully you don't have no gas nearby, but hopefully you can put like a heater in there. I don't know if you have to worry about this heat. He built a fire inside. You built a fire inside, and there you go, giddy up. I mean, hopefully you can get heat in there, man. So, yeah, I mean, this storm is insane. We've been watching it like well, I keep saying me. I've been watching it like crazy. Because I need to find out. I do, but it's a base. I'm at home. Ah, you at home? Chilling like a villain. You home for the holidays? Brian, big dog. Brian, I figured you'd be out there with that's one thing that guys do up here. Guys that drive, Brian, when they're not hauling loads, is, and I don't know how well they do, but yeah, they get subbed out with their tractors, and instead of hauling loads, they got plows on those bitches. So, Brian, I expected you to be out there with a plow on your truck, plowing the highways and shit, and side roads. But yeah, I see a lot of guys with trucks like yours with plows on there. So that, and then they usually have some kind of concrete block on the back where the fifth wheel is for traction. Unless you want to put boots on for your traction. But that's, putting boots on for traction, that's something else. Yeah, so my coffee is probably fucking cold as shit, God damn it. Well, wait, did I just see Float go live? Did Float go live? That guy. I thought he said he wasn't going live anymore. God damn, Float went live. Oh, shit, I'm about to go over there and fucking stalk that motherfucker. Hell yeah. Negative 34 degrees wind chill at 50 mile an hour winds in the Midwest. Nope, not me. Yeah. I'll tell you what, man. That is definitely cold as shit, man. That is definitely cold. I ain't messing with. But I know it's gonna be cold this weekend, and it's supposed to be windy as fuck. So I'm a little worried about tomorrow because it's supposed, even though it's like the 50s tonight or 50s early morning, it's supposed to on the side. It's supposed to what do you call it? Temperature's supposed to drop like a motherfucker. Oh snap! That's pretty hot. But anyway, my cargo would be frozen before I left the parking lot. Yeah. I mean, I guess it was not insulated. But yeah, I'm a little worried about tomorrow morning. So I don't know what the hell weather's gonna bring. So I'm gonna get up at 4 and then watch the weather again and see what salt's going where. And then that'd be it, man. Shit, I can't wait. So unfortunately, we missed this storm, which is good. Good and bad. Yeah, it's supposed to go from mid 50s to low 30s during the day. Dude, it's supposed to go like I think like this 16 degrees and shit, something like that. I forgot what the wind chill is supposed to be like. Dude, that is crazy. I mean, I anyway, I think it was like 16 degrees and shit. I forgot what the wind chill is supposed to be, but I'm I don't want to say worried, but I definitely gotta get my game plan for tomorrow morning. So, but anyway, that's about it. I'm about to hop off this bitch. I'm gonna go into what's his name's live a little bit real quick because I'm going to bed. I'm going into what the hell's his name? Float. Gonna stalk that little fucker. And then I'm out. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great night. Hope you enjoyed my live at Lawnscapes of America. And that's it. Have everybody safe. Love you guys. Peace out, bitches. Later, hater. Later, bud.